What's going on, everyone? It's Marco from PhoneDog.com, and it's the iPhone 6 versus the iPhone 5S. We're going to put these two head-to-head into comparison and see whether the iPhone 6 is worth the upgrade for anyone who's on the fence. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it. Alright, so chances are you own the iPhone 5 or 5S and you've been contemplating whether or not to drop your cash on a brand new iPhone 6. Well, if you're still on the fence, let's first take a look at one of the main reasons you might want to buy it, the size bump. As all of you know, the iPhone has been stubbornly on the smaller side of the mobile world for almost all of its life. Only being at 3.5 inches and 4 inches in the past 7 years of its life, it's only now 8 years after the original introduction of the iPhone when Apple has pushed the display to 4.7 inches on the iPhone 6 and a whopping 5.5 inches on the 6 Plus. Comparing the front of the iPhone 5S and the 6 doesn't seem too bad, but it makes a huge difference when you turn that display on. While it may have the same pixels per inch, everything just seems a little nicer on the larger display. Plus, you can display more content, have more room to type, and that 4.7 inch size of an iPhone feels just great in the hand, and it's almost a sweet spot for phones these days. On the iPhone 5S, things are pretty small on its 4 inch display, but it definitely was a one-handed iPhone, and the 6 still is for some people. Design-wise, the iPhone 6 and 5S look like two completely different products. Alright, so they are both black slabs, and there's only so much you can do with that, but the differences between the squared off edges of the iPhone 5S and the rounded aluminum edges on the iPhone 6 make radical differences. Gone are the chamfered edges and the hybrid mix of glass and aluminum of the iPhone 6, and come in the brand new aluminum and glass with just a tiny bit of plastic for the antenna bands. Even the buttons have been changed dramatically, made longer, thinner, and more clicky. The movement of the lock switch is a little strange since I've tried to tap the right hand corner of the iPhone 6 a few times yesterday, but the placement is much more comfortable for anyone with a smaller set of hands, and people will be thankful for that. Now let's get into the specs. The iPhone 5S comes in at 4.87 inches tall, 2.31 inches wide, and 7.6 millimeters thick. It only weighs 3.95 ounces and is equipped with a 1,560 mAh battery. The iPhone 6 comes in at 5.44 inches tall, 2.64 inches wide, and 6.9 millimeters thick. It weighs slightly more at 4.55 ounces and is equipped with a slightly larger battery, somewhere in the 1800 mAh range. Processor-wise, the 5S comes with a dual-core A7 processor clocked in at 1.3 GHz with 1 GB of RAM, while the new iPhone 6 comes with a dual-core A8 processor clocked in at 1.4 GHz with the same amount of RAM. Plus, NFC is now available on the iPhone 6. Now, reports claim that the NFC will only work with Apple Pay and nothing else, and so far that's been the case. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into the displays of both of these devices. The iPhone 5S has a 4-inch Retina display with 1136 by 640 pixel resolution. The iPhone 6 has a 4.7-inch Retina display with 1334 by 750 pixel resolution. Both of these achieve the same exact pixels per inch at 326. The display on the iPhone 6 feels much more dialed in. The colors are more vibrant, the colors are more accurate, blacks are nice and dark and deep, while whites look almost pure white. Compared to the iPhone 5S, the 6 has the better setup display. Now it's on to the camera. The iPhone 5S came equipped with an 8 megapixel camera rated at f2.2. It was a 5-element lens setup that had features like slow motion video, 1080p video, time-lapse, plus it had this true tone flash that mixed the colors of the flashes to achieve the best flash photo. The 6 also has an 8 megapixel camera with the same aperture rating. The big difference here is the addition of focus pixels built right into the sensor, similar to the same technology found on the Canon 70D. It too will shoot slow motion video, but now up to 240 frames per second, and 1080p video, but now up to 60 frames per second. It also has the same true tone color flash setup, but man, is that cheap looking on the iPhone 6. So apart from those changes, the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 5S share a lot of the same features. The iPhone 6 just does it in a tiny bit better way. For example, the 5S and the 6 all have a motion coprocessor, but the 6 has an additional barometer sensor which measures things like altitude gained. But that's the big differences between the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 6. If you ask me, the design, the size, and the display are all enough for me to upgrade. Now, it may be a bigger iPhone, but I'm completely okay with that. It's the bigger iPhone I've wanted, and I finally have it. So that's been a brief comparison between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 5S. Make sure to leave your comments below. If you have any questions, send them my way on Twitter. I'm at PhoneDog_Marco. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more content. And as always, my name is Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.